Okay, so the first thing you need to do is identify the legs and identify the hypotenuse. So the legs are the two sides that connect and make the right angle. And the long side is the hypotenuse. So these are your legs. And this is your hypotenuse. So if I want to find the sine of L, so L, if you look here, L is my angle that I'm focused on. So when you're finding the sine of an angle, the angle that you're finding the sine of, that's just the angle that you're focused on. So if I'm finding the sine of L, we look here in sine, in SOHCAHTOA, is SOH, meaning opposite over hypotenuse. So my ratio is the opposite. So if I go to this angle, angle L, the opposite leg, there's no number there. I have this number, I have this number, I don't have this measurement. So before we can even find the sine, cosine, and tangent, I need to find the measurement of that leg. And so we're going to say leg squared plus 16 squared equals 34 squared, right? Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. And so we don't know this leg, so I just call it leg squared. And so let's calculate this. So, we can even call that x. So x squared plus 16 squared is, anyone? 256. Thank you. That was fast. Equals 34 squared. I don't expect you to know 34 squared off the top of your head, but it is 1156. Okay, and then you just subtract 256 on both sides, and we get x squared equals, 1156 minus 256 is 900. And then we just square root both sides, and we get cancel. X equals the square root of 900 is, square root of 900, what's the square root of 900?
21.
No, it's not 21. You're close, though. We're kind of close. What's the square root of 900? Come on, guys. I need you to do some work. You were fast in the 256. What's the square root of 900? 30. Thank you. 30. So that means this leg right here is 30. Okay, so now that we have all three sides, now we can find the sine, cosine, and tangent. So again, we're talking about angle L. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So it's 30 over 34, which can be simplified. If I simplified that by 2, I would get 15 over 17. Okay. All right, so the cosine of L, cosine, if we look here, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. So if we're at angle L, the adjacent leg is 16, and the hypotenuse is still 34. So this is 16 over 34. And if we simplify this by 2, we get 8 over 17. And then the tangent of L. Tangent, if we look at tan is opposite over adjacent, opposite leg over adjacent leg. That's where the TOA, that's how to help you remember that. And so if I'm here at angle L, the opposite leg is 30, the adjacent leg is 16, and so my tangent is 30 over 16. And if I simplify that, I get 15 over 8. Yeah? And that's just finding sine, cosine, and tangent. I want to make sure that you can find sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, because once you can find it, then we're going to use it to find missing side lengths. Okay, but mister, can't we find missing side lengths just using Pythagorean theorem like you did here? Yeah, but sometimes you're only given an angle and one side. And then you got to use this right here, make an equation like this to find out the missing side. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to copy this down and ask any questions. Okay, so now we're going to look at finding side lengths. Finding side lengths using trig. Okay, and we're going to need our calculators, but make sure And different calculators are different. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Different calculators have different ways of showing that. On the front screen, you may see a D or an R or a deg or a rad. Make sure it's on deg or D, not R. R is radians, which is something we will talk about later. That's a different way to measure angles. So how do we use trig to find missing side lengths? How do we do that? So let's look at number 4. Let's look at this example. Okay, so we have a triangle. So when I told you this branch of math is very useful in real life. Imagine this is a triangle floating in space, right? But imagine, use your imagination, right? Imagine this is the ground. Okay. And imagine this is, actually, let's take this away. Imagine this is the ground. Okay, but why, mister? Watch, and let me show you. And imagine this is you. Right? Actually, let me draw you closer because you're too far. Oh, watch it. There's a hole in the ground right there. Nope, there's a bigger hole now. There we go. So imagine you are standing right here. And you are holding a kite. Right? And this is the string to the kite. Okay, and you want to find out how far up the kite is. This might be something you might want to do, or maybe that's not you, maybe it's none of that stuff. Maybe this is the ground. Maybe this is the ground. And maybe this is a tree. Right? And you want to find out the height of a tree, and you found out this angle, and you found out there's a string from the top of the tree to here that's 19 feet long, and you want to find out what that is. Okay? This can be any number of things. Use your imagination what this triangle can represent, but this triangle can be built or drawn over so much real life stuff. Okay? But the whole point here is we know this angle from here to here. We know this distance from here to here, and we want to know this distance. This side of the triangle, we don't care about. There's nothing here. There's no information here. No, it doesn't. We don't want to find out. But I mean, we could find it. But as for this problem, this is the side we want. This is the side we have. This is the angle we have. So we're going to use trig. So step 1 is always identify your legs. There's my leg. There's my leg, and your hypotenuse. Okay. Second step is now let's make an equation. Now that we know what the legs are and the hypotenuse is, let's make an equation based on the information that is in the problem. The information we need to know and the information they've given us. So these 3 things. So which trig function or trig ratio does these 3 pieces of information lead us to? Sine, cosine, or tangent? And how do you know? Okay, so I have 28 degrees. I have this opposite leg over here that I want to find out. And I know the hypotenuse. So which trig function works with those? Which trig function works with the opposite leg and the hypotenuse? And if you don't remember, then you can use that little convention that I taught you. SOHCAHTOA. And so you're saying, okay, I have this angle and I want to know the opposite leg. That's what I'm looking for. And I already know the hypotenuse. So which one has opposite hypotenuse? Opposite hypotenuse. Oh, there it is. Ding, 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 ding. There it is. It's this one. And what does S stand for? Hello? What does S stand for? Sine. Very good. So we're going to use the sine ratio. So sine, the sine of what? Well, what angle are we focused on? That angle. So the sine of 28 degrees equals opposite, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 19. And there you go. There's the setup. sine of 28 degrees is x over 19. So now I get x by itself by just multiplying both sides by 19. Cancel, cancel. So I get x equals, and then you got to plug this into your calculator. You're going to need a calculator. I would put this into my calculator first. Now, different calculators are different. If you're using your phone, most phones you have to put the 28 first, and then you hit sine, and it'll give you a decimal. And then whatever decimal you get, you just hit times and then multiply it by 19. Yes, that's a 19. Okay, so if I get sine of 28 in my calculator, however it does it, most of them are you hit 28, then you hit sine, and then it'll give you a decimal, then you just multiply that decimal to 19, and you get what? What do you get? And you can round to the nearest tenth. That's one decimal place. So go ahead and try it. Everyone needs to try this so you get used to your calculator and how sine, cosine, and tangent work. Okay, like I said, most calculators, you're going to have to put the 28 first, then hit the button sine, the SIN button, then it'll give you a decimal. Once you get that decimal, then just put times and then 19, and you should get your answer. So go ahead and try it. And then see if you get the correct answer. So what you guys get? 8.9. If you got 8.9, you entered into your calculator correctly. If you didn't, keep trying, right? You got to find, I would find this one first, however your calculator does that. Some of your calculators, you just put sine and then hit 28 and it gives you the answer. Some other calculators, like your phone calculator, you have to put the 28 and then sine. So that's why I want you to play around with your calculator, the one you have, if you're using your phone or if you have a separate calculator, and test it out. And then whatever you get from this, you multiply by 19, and you should get 8.9. If you got 8.9, you're doing it right. If you didn't, you did something wrong. All right, I'll give you a minute to copy that, and then I want you to try one on your own. All right, can I go to the next problem? I want you to try one now. I want you to try it on your own to see. So just recapping, those of you who wanted me to recap, first step I do is identify the legs and the hypotenuse. That way I know which one's the legs, which one's the hypotenuse. You should always do that with any right triangle. Second thing I did is I looked at the information they gave me, the angle they gave me, the side I'm looking for, and then the side they gave me. And what does that point to? Does it point to sine? Does it point to cosine? Or does it point to tangent? Are they giving me opposite hypotenuse? Are they giving me opposite adjacent? Are they giving me adjacent hypotenuse? Which one are they giving me? And based on that, that's the trig ratio I'm going to use. And then I set up that trig ratio here, and then I solve. Okay, so try this one. I will give you 3 minutes. All right, so let's go over this one. Hopefully this was easy. Hopefully look at this and say, okay. So step one, let's identify our legs. And there's my first leg. There's my other leg. And the long side is my hypotenuse. Bam. Next, I'm going to look at what they give me. So they give me this angle, this side, and this side. And so I ask myself, which one of these am I going to use? Well, if I look at the angle and what sides, the sides that I'm looking for and the side that they give me, how are they related to this angle? Well, this side is opposite and this side is adjacent. So if I remember in my head, SOHCAHTOA, opposite adjacent is this one. So I'm going to use tangent. Tangent because I have the opposite side, that's x, I'm looking for that, and I have the adjacent side, which is 32. They didn't give me any information about the hypotenuse, and they don't want me to find the hypotenuse, they want me to find this side. So the hypotenuse has nothing to do with this problem, so I'm using tangent. Tangent of what? Well, the tangent of the angle I was focused on, so angle 40, which is 41 degrees, and that equals the opposite leg, which is x, over the adjacent leg, which is 32. And now I just solve. So what I do is I want the x by itself, so what's the opposite of dividing by 32? Multiplying by 32. And I got to do it to both sides. Cancel, cancel. X equals, well, let's punch this into our handy dandy calculator. And so we find 41 tangent times 32. And we get, what do you get, guys? What'd you get, guys? I got a number. Let's see if any of you match it. Tangent of 41 degrees times 32 is... Practice. You guys should all practice this to make sure you got your calculator down, because for trig, you're going to need your calculator. 27.8. Anyone want to verify that? Very good. That's what I got. 27.8. That's it. That's how you use trig to find side lengths. That is it. That's it, mister? That was super easy. Yeah, I know. I know. Now, are there going to be word problems? Yes. Yes, there will. But I want you to practice on these first. So here's what I'm going to do. We have about 9 minutes left of class. I'm going to let you go to start the homework. Okay, to start the homework. I think I have the homework due tonight, but don't worry about that due date. If you don't turn it in tonight, I'm not going to... what do you mean, how do you calculate it? Like, how do you put this in your calculator? Or how did I get this at all? What's your, okay, yeah, so for your calculator, usually you'd have to put this, I think, where is it? Hold on. Oh, it's not here. So, usually if you're using your phone calculator, you're going to have to put this in first and then hit 10, and it'll give you a decimal. And then once you get that decimal, then you put times 32 equals, and then you'll get your answer. There's some fancier calculators where you can just type it in like this, tangent 41 times 32, or you can even put it in exactly like this in some of those fancier calculators. Yeah, but on your phone calculator, you're going to have to put this in first and then hit 10, and it'll give you a decimal, then times 32, and it'll give you 27.8. Okay? All right, I'm going to let you go. You're going to start your homework. If you finish it, great. If not, if you have questions, you can bring questions tomorrow from the homework and say, Mister, I don't know how to do this one. I don't know how to do that one. I'll answer any questions. Yes, I'm going to post it right after fourth period. I am recording right now. I'm going to post it right after fourth period. And yesterday's is up there, and the day before. They both should be up there. So I'm going to answer any homework questions you have, and we'll finish this up and make sure you understand. And we will do a word problem tomorrow. And then I will show you how to find angle measures, using trig. And there'll be a homework for that, but that won't be due until Monday. And then that's it. Then we get ready for testing. All right. Have a great day, guys. Take care. I will see.